Jeppy, come here, boy. Jeppy, come here. Come here, Jeppy. Yeah, Jeppy, come on. You're doing so good. Oh, good boy, Jeppy. That's my golden retriever E-boy right there and the king of shield. And that's why, guys, today we're going to talk about how to build Gepard. That was really cringe, but let's hop into the build guide. Yeah. So I guess first things first, we should probably talk about what his skills can do. As a basic rundown, he freezes and shields. But if you want to know what he actually does, let's hop right into it. He's going to be dealing ice damage equal to 130% of his attack to a single enemy with a 65% base chance to freeze the enemy for 1 turn. While frozen, the enemy cannot take action and will take additional ice damage equal to 39% of Gepard's attack at the beginning of each turn. So guys, I mean, this is really good for a multitude of reasons. He freezes the enemy, which is the best debuff in the game by far. Freezing the enemy is just insane. You basically take them out for a turn, you deal like dot damage, and then you're doing additional damage on top of that. And then you're making them skip another turn, which is just really, really good. Freeze is great. Freeze is amazing. Freeze is number 1. Freeze is the best. Talking about his ultimate now, he's going to be applying a shield to all allies, absorbing damage equal to 35% of Gepard's defense, plus 375 for 3 turns. Dude, if you've seen Gepard's shield, you know how huge it is. I mean, just look at how much shield he gives. He gives an absolutely insane amount of shield. Obviously, the best shielder in the game, and he gives this to all allies as well. The only problem that I have run into with Gepard is maybe an energy issue. He does have a pretty low ultimate cost, that being 100 energy cost for the ultimate to actually activate, but on average it'll probably take him around 4 to 5 turns to actually build this ultimate back up. And this is really because you're not using his skill every single turn, because you won't have enough skill points to use on your other characters. So like I say, 4 to 5 turns to actually build up his ult. And then finally, his talent, Unyielding Wheel. When struck with a killing blow, instead of becoming knocked down, Gepard's HP immediately restores to 30% of his max HP. This effect can only be triggered once per battle. This is really good for him because this means you basically don't need to heal him that much, just because he does have a self-revive. And of course, you know, keeping some healing on him would be nice, but you do have that threshold of him dying, he will come back to life for you. And I know there's a bonus effect with his ability, but we'll talk about all the traces and extra abilities he gets from traces in a bit. And then finally, I want to touch on his technique. His technique is really good because you can use it before the battle, and he applies a shield to all allies equal to 24% of his defense plus 150 for 2 turns. So this means at the very start of battle, you can get a shield off, then you can start building up his ultimate, and then you can use his ultimate and have shield for like at least the first 5 turns of battle, which is just really, really good. But with the skills out of the way for our little E-boy here, we're going to hop into the traces now and talk about what extra abilities he could get. Mainly, we're just going to be talking about all the big nodes here. So the first node you unlock is going to be Integrity, which makes Gepard have a higher chance to be attacked by enemies. This is really good because it kind of acts like a taunt. It's not completely a taunt because taunt's 100%. This is not 100%. This paired with like Landau's Choice will greatly increase the odds of him being attacked, meaning you're taking attacks away from the rest of your team, which is really good because he's a tank. But yeah, overall, this is a really good ability here. His second ability is also really good. Whenever Undying Will is triggered, Gepard's energy will be restored to 100%. This means if he dies, you can activate his ult as soon as he comes back to life, which means you give big shields as soon as he comes back to life. Absolutely amazing. And then his final one, Fighting Spirit. Gepard's attack increases by 35% of his current defense. This effect will refresh at the start of each turn. Honestly, this is pretty good too. He actually hits decently hard for being a tank, and this will help out a bit more, especially doing more damage to the enemy. And now guys, the moment you've all been waiting for me to tell you to subscribe before hopping into the relics. Hit that subscribe button, and now we're gonna hop into the relics. Thank you guys. So I see a lot of people using different builds in Gepard. I see them using 4-piece Purity, I see them using 4-piece Guard, and I also see them using 4-piece Meteor for some reason. Me personally, I don't like the last 2 sets, but you do you, I guess. So as far as the gear guys go, I'm running 2-piece Architect and 4-piece Purity. This is gonna be increasing my overall defense, so my shields are a lot stronger. He's also gonna be getting extra defense if his effect hit rate's over 50%. But honestly, I wouldn't worry about that too much, because if you can't get the correct stats you need for the sphere and the chain, then I wouldn't run it. I would just run what you have with the correct stat, because having the correct stats going to give you a bigger buff than this will anyways. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop into what you need for each piece. As far as the boots go guys, all you're going to be running is just full defense. Just focus on defense. You want to get that shield up as much as possible. Also, I'm not going to talk about the substats right now. We'll talk about the substats when I get done talking about all the main stats, and I'll put all those substats on a nice little chart for you guys. On the body, I'd also recommend running full defense. Some people run effect hit rate here. I don't like running effect hit rate because it just increases the freeze damage, and the freeze damage is good, but I do like the extra defense to make the rest of your units more tanky. On the leak rope, I also run defense. You can also run energy recharge right here if you do want to get his ultimate up faster. Whatever one is going to be up to you on that. Personally, I like defense because like I said, I like the more shield. If you have a good energy regeneration one, then run that to get your shield up faster. It's just really up to personal preference. I think overall probably energy regeneration will be better than defense, so you can get his ult off faster to always have shield up, but I think that's just going to depend on you at the end of the day. And as far as the sphere goes, I'm running defense on the sphere as well, just maximizing the amount of defense that we're getting on him so we can maximize the amount of shields he's giving out to the rest of the team. So guys, hopping into those substats now, what you want want for him. You want to be focusing on getting defense percentage, effect hit rate, speed, and defense for these substats for all of these pieces. These are the 4 substats you want to focus on getting and building those up as high as you possibly can to allow him to get more shield, freeze enemies more often, and attack more frequently. I cannot believe I did that on one take. Wowee me, I'm proud of myself. But with the relics out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about what light cones you can use on Unmal. So obviously his best in slot for light cone is going to be Moment of Victory. And what this does is it is going to increase the defense by 24%, increase the effect hit rate by 24%, increase the chance for him being attacked, and it's also going to increase his defense by another 24% when he's attacked. Now guys, why this is really good is because he's giving extra shield for the team. It's increasing the effect hit rate, meaning you're freezing enemies more often, and to top it all off is going to make him targeted more, meaning is going to stack on top of that ability we talked about earlier in the traces. So he's going to be having a lot of enemies target him just off of these passives alone. But if you don't have this 5-star cone, then let's talk about the other 2 that are good for him. Honestly, day 1 of my Lu life is really good. It increases the wearer's defense by 18%, and then upon entering battle, it increases the damage resistance of all allies by 9%. This is not going to give him as much shield, obviously, but it's going to increase the damage resistance of the full team, and this is just a really good option to run on him. And what I would say is the final best option to run on him would probably be Landau's Choice, because it's going to make him more likely to get attacked, and it's also going to decrease the damage that is taken by 16%. Now, this is not really getting you any extra shields, but it is going to make enemies target him more, meaning it's taking aggro away from your other characters. Popping into his Eidolons now, honestly, I think his E1 is probably his best Eidolon, because this is going to increase the amount that you can actually freeze enemies. And honestly, freezing, like I said, is the best thing in the game, and this is just really cracked. E2 is going to reduce their speed by 20% for 1 turn. E4 is going to give all allies effect resistance increased by 20%, which is actually really good, but I still do think number 1 is better. And then E6 is going to be when his talent is triggered, Gepard's action is advanced forward by 100%, and restores HP equal to 50% of his max HP. Honestly, this one's not too good, because, I mean, you really don't need his action advance forward if you have him at E6, because if you get his level up, I mean, you can just activate his ult anyways. The only thing he's really used for is freezing the enemy and also shielding, so you really don't need that advanced forward action at all. So I think this one's just kind of mid, honestly. And as far as team comps that you can actually run him on, honestly, you can run him on any team. There's no like specific team comp, so I'm not gonna put like a build guide for like a team he can work on. He works on just about every team. He's a tank, and yeah, he's not like a DPS. He's not like a buffer that needs like a certain niche to actually work. He works just in about every single team. So if you have him, use him with whatever team you have. Honestly, guys, if you have Gepard, use him. He's just really good. Personally, I didn't want Gepard. I still don't want Gepard. I like him a lot. He's really good. I just don't have very much fun playing with him because it's just shield the whole time. But he is really good, and his kit's amazing. So if you're struggling with any part of the game, literally just use him, and I think him alone could carry you through most of the content in the game, even without using a healer. I've beaten most of this game so far using just Gepard without a healer on my team, and it's been working out amazingly for me so far. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. I hope everyone enjoyed. Maybe give Gepard a thumbs up on the video if you liked it, and yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one later. Bye bye.